Hi, you guys. Can you hear the music? When I have it mute on this side, were you guys able to hear the music? Hi, Lindsay and Sunshine. Hi. Can you guys hear the music? I'm waiting for a yes or no from one of you, if one of you are still here. All right. I'm going to see if a few more people come in, okay? I'm going to do my live anyway, but okay. So this is Track Tribe. They're kind of a funky, hip-hoppy kind of thing. We just heard Spectrum. This is Limo Ride. Hi, you guys. Put my earrings in. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Smith. Hi, Ryan. Happy go lucky. Let's turn it off. All right. All right, I'm trying to figure out what to do with my hair today. There, we will leave it like that today. It's growing out a little bit. I mean, you can't really tell, but I can. Golly. All right, you guys. Boy, my screen is dirty. Always wiping. All right. Hi, everyone. So, how is everybody? Hi, Split Pea Soup. Please hit the like if you will. I'm going to do what I always do. Start with my happy thing, okay? You can be happy no matter what. 5 Principles for Keeping Life in Perspective by Richard Carlson, who does Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. We don't always have to take our thoughts seriously. For one person, the thought, I wonder if she likes me, I'll bet she doesn't, might cause distress. Yet this same person may recognize the freeway driver as just having a thought. I'm going to put the ticker up here. Hang on real quick, okay? Hi, Matthew, silly AF. Hi, everyone. Oh my God. Okay, so we don't always have to take our thoughts seriously. Most of us believe that if we have a thought, it's worthy of serious attention and concern. But if someone else thinks something, we might see it as just a thought, not worthy of attention. Why is this so? Again, because thought is something that shapes our reality from the inside out. Because it is so close to us, it's easy to forget that we are the ones doing it. Thought helps us make sense out of what we see. We need it to survive in the world and to put meaning into life. When we understand the true nature and purpose of thought, however, we don't need to take to heart or take so seriously everything we happen to think about. We can lighten up. Our thinking is not reality, but only an attempt to interpret a given situation. Our interpretation of what we see creates an emotional response. Our emotional responses are not the product of what happens to us then, but are derived from our thinking, our belief system. To illustrate, let's use the example of the circus coming to town. For people and families who love the circus, this is great cause for celebration. For those who don't love the circus, the increased traffic and confusion causes concern. The circus itself is neutral. It isn't the cause of positive or negative reactions. We can think of many similar examples ourselves. Once we understand the concept, our thoughts can be a tremendous gift to us and help us with our lives. Conversely, we can become the victims of our own thinking, and the quality of our lives can diminish. Since our thoughts change from moment to moment, life can become a struggle, if not a battleground. Our level of happiness seems to go up and down with our circumstances. Hi, Ann P. How are you doing? In reality, it isn't the circumstances, but our interpretation of them that determines our level of well-being. This is why identical circumstances can mean different things to different people. Learn to see negative thoughts as a form of mental static, and you can stop paying so much attention to them. Understanding the nature of thought allows us to live in a state of rest, a state of neutral, of positive feeling, happiness, and lighthearted contentment. When our attention is taken off what we are thinking about, particularly when it is negative, we are left with a nice, easy feeling. In no way is this meant to suggest that we don't need to think. We definitely do. It only suggests that negative thoughts, thoughts that cause distress and unhappiness, aren't worth dwelling on because they take away what we are looking for, a feeling of happiness. This contentment creates necessary space in our mind for new creative thoughts to enter, allowing us to have that childlike quality of soft focus, which brings back wonder and adventure to life. This softer focus allows us to listen to people in a loving way. It enables us to listen even to criticism in a way that does not bother us because we're no longer analyzing, we're merely taking in information. Ultimately, the relationship you have to your own thinking will determine your mental health and happiness. Do you believe that because you think about something, it must be taken seriously? Or do you understand that thinking is something that you do by virtue of being human, and that you need not confuse thinking with reality? Can you have thoughts and let them pass in soft focus, or do you feel compelled to contemplate or analyze them? Having the option to act on our thoughts. Having the option. Hi, Tattooed Rebel 2229. Hi, Heavenly Blue. Hi, everyone. Most of us assume that if something comes to mind, it does so for a reason. It must be representative of reality, worthy of our attention and dealt with. If we understand the principle of thought, however, we know that this is a mental error. If something comes to mind, recognize it for what it is, a passing thought. This doesn't mean that we can't or shouldn't consider or act on the thought, but it does provide the option. Thousands of thoughts pass through our minds each day. As the principle of thought goes, none is more important than the next. Each of them is just a thought. Once we understand this principle, what we think about will no longer have the power to completely determine the quality of our lives. Instead, we can choose to stay in the nicer feeling state that comes from a softer focus of thought. This is really good for me, you guys, because we still don't know what's going on with my sister. And she's going to let me know when her test results come back, which might be tomorrow. I'm hoping it's not any, breast mastitization done in her stomach, things of that nature. I'm trying to stay. It's hard for me to stay positive because I've always, for years, when you go through quite a bit in your life, you're waiting for the other boot or shoe to fall off, so to speak, the expression. So like I'm almost, it's almost sometimes easier for me to expect the negative, so I'm not surprised by it. But I don't want to live like that. I want to try to think positive, or at least think neutral, you know? So I'm trying to be in a neutral state of mind. Thanks so much, you guys. Thanks. I mean, she sounds upbeat. She wants to just get it removed. But she doesn't study medical stuff as much as me, and she's not a nurse like our mother. My mother's worried. Thanks, you guys. Thanks so much. Thank you. I've been sending her little get well giffies, and she responds back, and it's, thankful for texting at this time. Anyway, the reason we can watch an upsetting or even horrifying movie and then go out for a meal is that we are always one step removed from the film. We understand that it's just a movie. Once the movie is over, it's over. It's no longer with us. We go on with our lives. The same is true with thought. It's only in our minds. Once a thought is out of mind, it's gone until we think it again. There's nothing to fear from thought itself once we understand that it's just thought. Perhaps the greatest misinterpretation of this principle is to believe that the goal is to control what you think about. It isn't. The goal is to understand thought for what it is, an ability you have that shapes your reality from the inside out. Nothing more, nothing less. What you think about is not ultimately going to determine the quality of your life, but rather the relationship you have to your own thinking, the way you manufacture thoughts and respond to them. Do you hear your thinking as reality or as thought? So, a dream analogy, it's common to wake up in the morning and say, wow, that dream seems so real. But however real the dream seemed to be, we recognize it as a dream. So if we dreamed that we brought our car into a mechanic to be fixed and he made the problem worse, we wouldn't go down to the service station and complain. We understand that dreaming is nothing more than thinking while we are asleep. When we apply the same understanding to waking thought, which seems real too, while it's occurring, we no longer need to see it as truth. So, okay, this one's short, and then I'm going to end the thought thing. The two aspects of thought. There are two aspects of thought that are very important to understand. First is the fact that we think, that we have this human function. It's not what we think about the content, but the recognition that we are the thinkers who produce the thoughts constantly going through our mind. The second aspect, the one that's usually discussed, is content, or what we are thinking about. There is a major difference between the two. Advocates of positive thinking suggest thinking positive thoughts as much as you can and avoid negative thinking altogether. While it's true that thinking positive thoughts will make us feel better than thinking negative ones, positive thinking is an erroneous concept based on the assumption that thought, in and of itself, has a reality which we need to be concerned with. But be it positive or negative, thought is still only a function. When we understand thought for what it truly is, we see positive or negative thoughts for what they are. A positive thinker is constantly under pressure to produce only positive thoughts, which takes enormous effort and concentration, leaving little energy for new and creative thoughts. When negative thoughts do enter the mind, which they will, a positive thinker has to deny their existence and override them with positive ones. People who understand the nature of thought don't have the pressure to produce any specific content to their thinking. They see thought for what it is, a function of consciousness, a voluntary ability that shapes our experience of life. Does this mean that people who understand that thought is a function will intentionally think negative thoughts? No, of course not. Neither does it mean that negative thoughts will never enter their minds. They merely understand that negative thoughts in and of themselves have no power to hurt them. To them, thoughts, whether positive or negative, are simply thoughts. All right, that's a lot of, I wonder how many times I said the word thought in there. Goodness gracious. You dream constantly, they wear you out. I don't. I'm so glad I don't dream a lot. Hi, ADHD. Hi, lunch lady. Thank you, you guys. Thanks for all the prayers. Thank you. Hi, Sizzle Silva. Okay, yeah, Tattooed Rebel's going live in 45 minutes. Tattooed Rebel, 2229. Thank you for hopping in, or popping in, I mean. Okay. Then I read a little bit out of my Pebbles in the Pond, Living with Chronic Neurobiological Disorders. Okay, written by some doctors. If somebody wants to put the, is it the copyright disclaimer is what I need in chat, that'd be superdy duperdy. Oh, nice, thank you. So remember, I read yesterday about cognitive impairments, dual diagnosis, memory, and ADHD. Today it's going to be delirium and dementia and Alzheimer's, which are more cognitive impairments. Delirium. Delirium involves a change in one's awareness of the environment and a change in cognitive ability. It can be distinguished from dementia by remembering the DIF. In delirium, the duration is generally brief and the condition is usually easily treated and quickly resolved. The person experiences symptoms of significant intensity, including trouble concentrating, inability to figure out where he or she is, and problems remembering information and or difficulty with language skills. Well, it nearly sounds like dementia, doesn't it? I'll keep reading. The condition is a significant change from the person's usual state of functioning. The symptoms develop over a short period of time, usually hours to days, and tend to fluctuate during the course of the day. A physical examination reveals an imbalance in body chemistry due to a medical condition. Oh my gosh, such as dehydration. Maybe I don't have dementia. I mean, maybe I do, but maybe I have delirium. I mean, but then again, I'm not disoriented. It says disorientation. The language difficulties for me would be remembering certain words. And then it says perceptual disturbance. Decreased clarity or consciousness of the environment. No, I'm very conscious of my environment. All right, yeah, I don't have this. And difficulty focusing, sustaining, or shifting attention. I don't have that either. But I do think I have a memory deficit. Okay, so, but I'm sure I'm dehydrated. I don't drink enough water. I need to go in and get something to drink, and I should grab I have a little water left over here. Whoops. Yeah, I know it happens with H2 Zen, but for me, it's not remembering like not basic words like boy, girl, cat, dog, but just words that I had no problem just saying. And then also, like yesterday, I put my glass of soda in the freezer to get it cold, and forgot it was there, like totally. Was looking on the coffee table, and I knew I hadn't walked into my bedroom with my cup, but I checked there. I checked the bathroom counter. I mean, I checked everywhere. Then I walked back into the kitchen last, and it dawned on me it was in the freezer. And I never used to really be like that. And my doctor is concerned too, because I took the little test, the spelling test, and that's when he said he wanted me to see a neurologist. So I'm going to see one. I think it's in May. Yeah, many times a day you walk into a room and forget what you're going to get. Sunshine? Yeah. You lose your phone number. Wait, you lose your phone when you're on it, sweet misery? Wow. Hi, everybody. Thanks for hopping in. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So, but I mean, I don't even have one of these a week. I have orange juice. I might have a little milk. I have some soda. You know what I mean? Dementia. Many people mistakenly equate dementia with psychosis, calling people who experience hallucinations or delusions demented. I didn't know that. This shows a misunderstanding of the true nature of dementia. The symptoms of dementia include problems with short-term and long-term memory, as well as difficulty with abstract reasoning, impaired judgment, and changes in personality. There is always a physical cause for dementia. Some possible causes include viral infection, environmental toxins, brain trauma, or a chemical imbalance. Some people inherit a genetic predisposition to developing dementia. Encephalitis or autoimmune deficiency syndrome may produce dementia. Exposure to toxic chemicals in the air, food, or workplace may also lead to dementia. Dementia may be produced by a head injury, particularly one that results in brain swelling or by a lack of oxygen or sugar to the brain. A lack of sugar to the brain? A narrowing of blood vessels in the brain or strokes may result in dementia. Well, the thing about my stroke is I wasn't noticing any cognitive stuff at all different for a whole, I would say, a year and a half. I mean, it could be from my stroke, but it took a good year and a half. Excuse me. The most common types of dementia are Alzheimer's and multi-infarct, INFARCT dementia, which includes both blood vessel disease and stroke. Dementia is also seen in Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease, Pick's disease, and Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. CREUTZFELDT/JAKOB. I've never heard of that. Or Pick's disease. Have you guys heard of that? That's called life sweetness. You're funny. I need to drink more water. I know. I'm a worrywart. Alzheimer's disease involves changes in brain structure that produce a progressive decline in cognition. The exact cause is not known, but it is believed to involve a significant decrease in acetylcholine within the brain. I was talking about that, 2 days ago? A genetic predisposition seems to exist in some cases, although this is not true of all cases. It usually has a gradual onset after age 60. Oh, lovely. Although some individuals develop the disease earlier. Although there is no cure for Alzheimer's, medications may slow its progression and help with the anxiety, agitation, sleeplessness experienced by many people with the disease. The key symptoms to Alzheimer's are memory impairment, language disturbance, impaired ability to carry out motor activities, failure to recognize or identify objects, impaired ability to plan and or organize, difficulty sequencing events or ideas, and impaired ability to think in abstract terms. Oh, the multi-FARCT dementias include vascular dementia. So that's a heart dementia, right? Cerebral vascular accident and a transient ischemic assault. Huh. Well, I had an ischemic thalamic stroke. I don't know. Anyway, vascular dementia refers to dementia arising from problems with the blood vessels in the brain, not the heart. Vascular dementia, I mean, that makes sense. I see. It's a good thing I'm not a doctor, huh? Okay, so it's blood vessels in the brain. Its symptoms include memory impairment, language impairment, difficulty carrying out motor activity, failure to recognize, identify objects, and the organizing, sequencing, and abstracting is hard to do. Stroke is another name for a stroke is cerebral vascular accident, sometimes, or CVA. Sometimes one may have a mini stroke called a transient ischemic assault, or TVA. CVAs and TIAs happen when there is an increase or decrease in blood to the brain. You guys, I didn't know you could have a stroke by having a decrease of blood to the brain. I mean, that makes sense, but I didn't know. I assumed it was too much. An increase of blood in the brain may occur because a vein in the brain ruptures and leaks blood into the brain tissue. A decrease in blood to the brain may result when a blood clot or cholesterol restricts blood flowing to the veins of the brain. I probably had a decrease of blood then from the clot, and I had high cholesterol. Interesting. The most common causes of stroke are untreated hypertension, high blood pressure. I had that too. Uncontrolled diabetes. Thank God I didn't have that. Or complications of other neurobiological conditions. The symptoms of stroke include numbness, tingling, odd behaviors, sudden memory impairment, accompanied by a sharply painful headache. That's not necessarily true. I had no headache whatsoever, but maybe most people do. I didn't. I didn't feel anything, not a dull ache up here, nothing. If these symptoms are present, see a physician immediately. Stroke can result in serious loss of cognitive or physical functioning or even death. Immediate medical attention is vital to lessening the effects of stroke. Yep, first 4 hours. FAST stands for face, action, speech, and time. So watch, the face drooping, whatever. Action, you need to get there right away. Speech and time. Day-to-day life can be difficult and frustrating for individuals with the kinds of cognitive impairment we have been talking about in these preceding pages. The individual has often been quite independent and able to meet their needs and express their thoughts readily. Following injuries of the brain that produce dementia, the person may experience a sense of loss, not only of functioning ability, but also of freedom and independence. People will often attempt to mask or cover up their inability to remember or to do tasks they were previously able to do. For example, someone may have difficulty remembering who people are, so they may make cautious inquiries to get clues about the identity of their visitor. They may not be able to follow conversations easily and therefore may isolate, sleep excessively, or say things that are likely to alienate other people. Individuals who experience cognitive disabilities often have a heightened level of intuitive awareness, making them highly sensitive to others' disapproval or dissatisfaction. They may perceive criticism where none exists, or may magnify it out of proportion. Those of us who seek to help the person who has experienced a stroke or who have Alzheimer's disease can also become frustrated, especially if we are not aware of the symptoms and resulting deficits of these conditions. Here are some suggestions that may be helpful. Don't talk down to the person. Do talk to the person on an adult level. Speak clearly and use fairly short sentences. Don't make all decisions for the person. Include the person in decision making whenever possible. Don't limit the person to only one option. Provide the person with 2 or 3 clearly defined options. Don't provide too many options. Remember, the person may have difficulty prioritizing options. Provide him or her with 2 or 3 most realistic choices. Hi, Tattooed Angel. Hi, Becca. Hi, I left you a little voice message. Hi, Whimsy Wids. Hi, everybody. Hi, Michelle Finch. Hi, you guys. Thanks for being here. Oh, golly. Don't do everything for the person. Foster independence. Foster independence by allowing the person to do the tasks he or she is able to. Don't assume the person understands what you ask him or her to do. Do ask the person to tell you what you have asked them to do. Don't treat the person in a demeaning or dehumanizing manner, talking about him or her instead of to him or her. Do treat the person with the same respect you would according to other human beings. Don't get into a power struggle with the person, especially over non-essential decisions or ones not relevant to the person's safety. Do remember that the person is ultimately the one most affected by decisions about his or her life. My father's wife had Alzheimer's for a good 7 years, and instead of putting her in a nursing home, he did everything for her. I mean, everything. Took care of her in the bathroom, everything. Okay, so that is the short end of that. Now, there's a whole thing on substance abuse, drugs and alcohol, how they affect the brain, but I'm just not going to go over it, you guys, because we're all old enough to know. And I covered some of it in the domestic violence series thing that I did back in some of my videos. I have some really good domestic violence videos, you guys. If you know anyone that's going through it, needs to leave, whatever, make sure their ducks are in a row and they don't ever meet the person day or night or anything that acts like, they might want to just talk to them or something, even a month later. It's just because 75% of women die when they try to leave an abusive relationship, and 13% of men do. But men still do get abused. So I'm just turning the pages to get to the next part that I want to read about tomorrow. And yeah, tomorrow it'll be about hallucinations and delusions. Right? All right. Moving right along. Please hit the like, you guys. Thanks, everyone. Where are the kitties? They're not in here right now because they're in the living room. They're on the cat tree. They're all over and they're sleeping. I fed them this morning and then I gave them a little more dry about a half hour ago, and so they're sleeping. But I let them play in here and run around. When they're all lively. Blow my nose. Is it driving you nuts? Okay, let me mute. Okay, I didn't realize I needed to do that so much, but I did. All right. Hi, Tina K. How's it going? Hi, everybody. Some of you I have in Messenger. So, yeah. Okay, now see, I fixed my hair and now I don't really know how I like it. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. So I heard about these about 3 years ago, these cases. And I went over them briefly to get an idea of what I wanted to do. They're pretty intense. This first one is Tatsuya Ichihashi. And he's a killer that deformed his own face. And I can't remember, honestly, if he did it to prey upon people or what, but it's insane. So give me just a moment. Okay, this makes no sense. It says I have to register. So I shut the thing off and then, thinking it would just let me go to, okay, hold on. I guess I didn't shut it off. Tatsuya Ichihashi. Ichihashi. Okay. Okay, it'll work now. All right, you guys. Goodness sakes. His eyebrows are different. Did he do anything else? I don't know. I can't really tell. Okay. my gosh, it says he performed plastic surgery on himself. All right, hold on. Okay, I'm going to show like 10 seconds at a time of this.
Today, we're covering the case of Tatsuya.
Oh, you guys. Story of my life. Now, this is a thing, though. Am I going to get in trouble? Wait, I might. There's 5 million visual things. This is beyond evil. Yeah, I don't want to show. I'll just read about it. Sorry about that. All right. So this is the young gal that was murdered by him, Lindsay Hawker. Okay. Hi, Thor. Hi, everybody. Hi, Ozzy Manda. All right. She was born in 1984 on December 30th, and she died March 26, 2007. She was a 22-year-old British teacher who was murdered in Japan in early 2007 by Tatsuya Ichihashi, a 28-year-old Japanese man from Chiba Prefecture. Ichihashi was seen fleeing his apartment, and police sought him for the murder of Hawker in the abandonment of her corpse. The police arrested Ichihashi on November 10th, 2009, 2 years later. On July 5th, 2011, Ichihashi confessed to killing this woman, Lindsay Hawker, stating that he smothered her to prevent her from screaming while he raped her. Okay, let's get this in here. And I don't know, did somebody put the copyright disclaimer in here? Oh, good night, Heavenly Blue. Hi, everybody. Thank you. Why does this keep going off? He was sentenced to life imprisonment on July 21st, 2011. Her background: she was born to Bill and Julia Hawker, who lived in Coventry, England. Her family came from the nearby village of Brandon, Warwickshire. She was schooled at King Henry VIII School, Coventry, and studied biology at the University of Leeds, where she achieved a first-class honors degree, graduating in 2006. Although she planned to pursue a master's degree, she taught English for a year in Japan, starting in October 2006 at the Koiwa, Tokyo branch of Nova, then Japan's largest private English conversation school. Hawker shared her accommodation with two other foreign female contacts two other foreign female teachers. On the day she disappeared, her family became distressed because of her lack of contact. She had used an email, Skype, and telephone calls to maintain frequent contact with her family. This Tatsuya Ichihashi was born in 1979 on January 5th. He grew up in Gifu as well as in Chiba Prefecture, just east of Tokyo. His mother is a dentist, his father a medical doctor. After graduating from the Department of Horticulture at Chiba University in 2005, Ichihashi did not work and lived on a monthly allowance of 100,000, about $760 at that time. Oh, 100,000 yen. Isn't that a yen with the Y and the lines? From his parents. Ichihashi was 28 years old at the time of the MURDER and lived in the city of Ichikawa in Chiba. He had no previous convictions, but he had been the subject of an allegation of theft and injury 6 years before Hawker's death. He had allegedly assaulted a man on the street during a robbery, but the matter had been settled out of court. Ichihashi had been in a stable year-long relationship with a Japanese woman at the time of Lindsay's killing. Police described him as a loner with an obsession for physical fitness. He regularly attended a gym and cycled 25 kilometers a day, which some reporters linked to the case. Meeting. Lindsay Hawker told her boyfriend in England how she met Ichihashi in an email message 4 days before she died. Ichihashi approached Lindsay during her train journey home from work. He at first said Hawker was his English teacher. She was not. And then asked her to confirm that. Ichihashi chased her as she cycled home. So she was cycling too on a bike, and he hopped on his bike and chased her to her house and asked her for a glass of water when she arrived. Lindsay Hawker felt sorry for him and allowed him inside her flat, but showed him to her two flatmates as a precaution. Once inside, Ichihashi drew a picture of her and signed it with his name, telephone number, and email address. Oh no, the pair agreed to meet for an English lesson at a cafe 4 days later, which was permitted by the Nova School. Police suspect that between Sunday night and early Monday morning, Akashi had moved his bathtub from the bathroom. I don't remember reading any of this. What I saw was a video, but these details are, he moved his bathtub from the bathroom to the balcony. Oh, and put Lindsay Hawker's body into it. Neighbors said they heard sounds of something striking metal and something being dragged during that time. On Tuesday, the police obtained an arrest warrant for Ichihashi on suspicion of abandoning Hawker's body. They put him on the nationwide wanted list. On March 29th, detectives removed a shopping trolley in which Akashi is believed to have transported the bags of horticultural soil he used to bury Lindsay from his apartment building. That same day, 20 police officers raided Hotel Chateau, a love hotel near Nishi Funabashi Station, east of Tokyo, but did not find Ichihashi. Police released a new wanted poster of Ichihashi, which included an enhanced image of the suspect disguised as a woman. They also released images of the drawing he had made of Hawker, hoping that someone would recognize the drawing style. In early 2008, police investigated sightings of Ichihashi among sections of Kabukicho popular with homosexuals, where he had tentatively been identified by his male sexual partners. However, in the latter part of the year, the investigation stalled. By October 2008, 140 officers were involved in the relatively large investigation. That month, the police suggested that Ichihashi may have unalived himself. Lindsay's father called this a ploy to scale down the operation, which some inside sources said was coming to a close. Japanese police told neither the Hawker family nor the British Foreign and Commonwealth Office. Wow. Reports speculating about Ikehashi's location continued. On January 15th, 2009, an article in Japan Today, citing a reporter from the weekly magazine Spa, reported that Ichihashi had fled to the Philippines. On March 21st, 2009, on the run-up to the second anniversary of her death, the police released life-size cutouts of Ichihashi to raise the profile of the case. On June 26, 2009, the Japanese National Police Agency raised the cash reward for information leading to Ikehashi's arrest from 1 million yen to 10 million yen. The manner in which this reward would be distributed was questioned when Ichihashi was arrested later that year. Several informants, including a cosmetic surgery clinic in Nagoya, an employee at an Osaka construction company where Ichihashi worked for 14 months, and an Osaka ferry company employee who reported sighting someone who resembled Ichihashi, contributed to his capture. On November 4th, 2009, police disclosed that Ichihashi had undergone plastic surgery on 24 October at a clinic in Nagoya, where he had his nose uplifted. He had failed to receive surgery in Fukuoka in mid-October. He had apparently received cosmetic surgery on several occasions to remove 2 moles on his cheek, add a fold to his eyelids, thin both lips, and increase the height of his nose before he visited the Nagoya clinic. Police released to the press a photograph taken immediately before his latest surgery. Okay. Hi, AK-47. Okay, AK-47, thanks for saying hi. Hi, Mary Jane. You didn't get the notification? Somebody told me that you have to, hi, Lloyd Boston. Hi. Hi, Sherry. Notifications. Your notifications were silenced. Mary Jane didn't get any. Um, Sometimes you have to resubscribe to a channel or turn all the notifications off. Did someone tell me that yesterday and then put them back on again? Type deal. Yeah. Okay, so this guy had his nose turned up, his lips thinned out, an extra fold in his lid. Anyway, on November 10th, 2009, Ichihashi was captured in Osaka while trying to board a ferry to Okinawa. As most of you know, I lived there for nearly a year, but in 1987 to 88, so way back before this. Ichihashi did not confess upon being arrested, and when his 23-day period of detention without charge expired on December 2nd, he was initially charged with abandoning a body and served 2 more warrants for RAPE and MURDER. Ikehashi's lawyers alleged that he was threatened with the death penalty if he did not speak, and his reticence was attributed to fatigue and stress. On December 23rd, one of his lawyers announced that he had acknowledged that he was involved in Lindsay's death, but he had not intended to kill her and had attempted artificial resuscitation. Okay, you don't hear too many killers admit to that. Stephen Green, writing for the Japan Times, said that the case, which had been extensively covered by the media, was likely to test the fairness of Japan's judicial system, which operates a lay judge system and has the option of the death penalty in certain cases. However, it is extremely rare in Japan to be sentenced to death for killing only one person. As of 2010, fewer than 10 of the 111 inmates of Japan's death row had killed only one person, including previous convictions. In court, Ichihashi admitted to suffocating Lindsay to prevent her from screaming for help while he RAPED'd her. He was sentenced to life imprisonment on July 21st, 2011. The Hawker family had requested the death penalty, but the court felt the death penalty was inappropriate because Ichihashi had no previous convictions and because at the age of 32 there was still a chance he could be rehabilitated. Are you serious? As of 2023, Ichihashi is serving a sentence in Nagano prison. Of course, it's 2024 now, according to an article on the Daily Shinsho. Wow. The family visited Japan 3 times to renew the attention on their daughter's case, and they visited again a year after her death, imploring the media to keep the case alive and for Ichihashi to turn himself in. Wow. Good grief. So Lindsay Hawker's MURDER was repeatedly compared to the 2000 MURDER of British citizen Lucy Blackman, whose dismembered body was found buried in a shallow grave at a beach in Miura, Kanagawa, in January 2001. What? Ichihashi wrote a book titled Until I Was Arrested, which tells his side of the story. Oh my gosh, he offered Hawker's family all royalties to his book might earn, which the family rejected. Wow. A film, I Am Ichihashi, Journal of an MURDERER, starring Japanese actor Dean Fujioka, was released in November 2013 based on the book by Ichihashi and covering the 2.5 years he spent on the run before being arrested in November 2009. So he thinks he's, I don't know what he thinks he is. A movie star? Good grief. These are, these are different pictures of him. So I guess this one right here. To me, it looks like his nose is turned up a little more. His eyebrows are up. His lips seem a little bit thinner. But again, I'm not really sure. Oh, wow. Look at all that Japanese writing. Goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. This is him as dressed up as a woman. Right there. There. Gosh. She wanted to give him some water, and then that got the ball going to meet her or whatever. Okay, enough of that story. Hi, Medusa. This one's pretty darn sad. I went over it last night. This one is Satoshi Uematsu. And this man who's very, very fair skin, or he puts white powder all over his face. I don't know. His hair's blondish white. He looks pretty young. Takes a bunch of knives and goes into a disabled home place, and they don't even know why. Even today, they don't know why. He, I don't want my daughter to hear too much, but stabs, kills 19 people. So I'm just going to type it in. This is why I stopped doing true crime for a little while. Satoshi Uematsu. 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 Yeah, there he is. This is the guy. I wish I could get rid of this other picture. There we go. This is the guy. See what I mean? That's the guy. I mean, oops. Why does it change? Oh, okay. If I did one space further to the right, it changed the entire first name, which makes no darn sense. Okay, he was 26. And why would anybody do that? I mean, okay. The Saga Mihara stabbings were committed on July 26, 2016. It is creepy. In Midori Ward, Saga Mihara, Kanagawa, Japan, or Kanagawa. 19 people were killed and 26 others were injured, 13 severely at a care home for disabled people. The crimes were committed by a 26-year-old man identified as Satoshi Uematsu, a former employee. Oh, he was a former employee of the care facility. Uematsu surrendered at a nearby police station with a bag of knives and was subsequently arrested. The Guardian described the attack as one of the worst crimes committed on Japanese soil in modern history. Uematsu was sentenced to death on March 16, 2020. After the prosecution sought the maximum penalty for MURDER in his trial as of July 2022, he was on death row awaiting execution. As of 2023, it is currently the deadliest mass stabbing in Japanese history. The attack. He did it at night. I think it was like 3 in the morning or something. Oh, 2:10. At about 2:10, Satoshi Uematsu allegedly used a hammer to break into the care center through a glass window on the first floor. He tied up a staff member, took their keys, and then went from room to room, stabbing the victims in there as they slept. Police were called to the care center by staff members at around 2:30, reporting a man with a knife breaking into the building. And there was literally security cameras that were working. However, reporting a man with a knife breaking into the building. However, Uematsu left the premises before being apprehended. He was recorded leaving the facility at 2:50 in security camera footage. Armed police entered the building at around 3, where they discovered the crime scene. 29 ambulances were sent to the facility. The suspect turned himself in at the Tsukui police station 2 hours after the incident with a bag containing kitchen knives and other blood-stained sharp tools. A knife was reportedly found in his car outside the police station. Uematsu killed 10 women and 9 men. Oh my gosh, aged between 18 and 70. And injured 26 more, you guys, with 13 being injured severely. So he used to work. He was 26 years old. He used to work at the care home. His father was an elementary school art teacher. And this man, Uematsu, had trained and worked as an elementary school teacher as well. He had lived in his house with his parents, but they moved away at some point and he remained there alone. He resigned from working at the facility in February 2016 after having been employed there for over 3 years. Neighbors expressed surprise that he had allegedly committed the MURDERs. He was described as a friendly, outgoing, and good man. However, some reported that his personality had undergone a change at some point during his employment at the facility. What? In February 2016, Uematsu attempted to hand-deliver a letter to Tadamori Oshima, the Speaker of the House of Representatives of Japan, at Oshima's home in Tokyo, but was prevented from doing so by security. He returned the following day and this time left the letter with the security guards. Uematsu's letter appealed for the legalization of ending the lives of those with multiple disabilities in cases where it was requested by their guardians, and asked for Oshima's assistance in delivering his message to Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. I envision a world where a person with multiple disabilities can be euthanized, he said, with an agreement from the guardians. When it is difficult for the person to carry out household and social activities. He also wrote that the killings of disabled people would be for the sake of Japan and world peace, as well as to benefit the global economy and prevent World War III. After signing his name, the letter proceeded to detail and offer to target 2 facilities housing disabled people. What? Possibly a reference to the 2 residential buildings in which he later committed the crime. Oh. Okay, and went on to appeal for certain conditions in exchange for committing the act. What? In the first half of the message, Uematsu said he could kill 460 people. However, in the second half, the number he gave was 260. He added that staff would be tied up to keep them from interfering, but that they would not be harmed. The act would be swift, and that afterwards he would turn himself in. The end of the latter half of the letter, he signed his name again, this time with his address, telephone number, and the name of his employer. Later that month, after his letter was brought to the attention of Sagamihara's authorities, he was arrested. Okay, this is all before he did these crimes. He was detained, he was questioned, and then involuntarily committed to a psychiatric hospital for 2 weeks. However, he was released on March 2nd after doctors deemed that he was not a threat. In his letter and in his statements made after turning himself in, Uematsu explained that he was saving from unhappiness both the severely disabled and those who believed were burdened with maintaining their lives. He never should have worked at a place like that. So he got 19 counts of MURDER. That's what he was charged with. And 24 counts of attempted MURDER, 2 counts of illegal confinement causing injury, 3 counts of illegal confinement, 1 count of unlawful entry, 1 count of violating the firearm and sword possession control law. He went in with swords? But on March 16, he was put to death by Yokohama District Court, having previously said he would not challenge any verdict or sentence. Okay. The 26th of July is considered a significant date in disability history. In addition to being the date of the Sagamihara stabbings, July 26, 1990 saw the enactment of one of the world's first national legislation outlawing disability discrimination, the Americans with Disabilities Act. Wow. Wow, you guys. Are you still here with me? Hi, Sean B. It is. It's quite depressing. All right, you guys. So that one's that one, and it's 6:30 here. I'm going to make some supper. I'm going to end my live. Thank you, everybody. I know, Medusa. People are insane. They're insane. All right. So I'm going to go, and it's only 6:25 here. Thank you for being here at PCT is Extreme. Please hit the like. Please subscribe to me if you haven't. And I should see you tomorrow, okay? Thank you.